The taste of our childhood, vanilla. Unconsciously, we become accustomed to the unique aroma. So much so that the food industry likes to use it in countless products. The demand for vanilla has risen dramatically in recent years, as have prices. In order to get the best brown pods, traders go difficult ways.
For me, vanilla is the queen of spices.
The vanilla boom splits society in Madagascar. Crime is on the rise.
Das Risiko ist natürlich vor allem für die
The vanilla thieves really risk their lives trying to steal vanilla here.
Vanille versuchen stehlen zu kommen.
Lynched thieves, murdered farmers. Vanilla demands a high price. The vanilla orchid. Hand-pollinated, the orchid blossom produces green pods. The elaborate processing gives the so-called bourbon vanilla its brown color, exudes a sensual aroma, and is in demand worldwide. Antananarivo Airport, capital of Madagascar. Vanilla dealer Jörg Brandt on a difficult mission. In the sacks, material. His destination is difficult to reach. The city of Mananara in the north of the island.
The fact that the cyclones that came over Madagascar have increased the price of vanilla is certainly not wrong. But in my opinion, it's not the main reason. The cyclones may have affected 10 to 20% of the crop, but at the same time we have 10 to 20% more crop this year. I think it's just a question of demand and supply, and demand is still very high.
It is a 2-hour flight to the destination. The vanilla dealer is known, one of several dealers in the city. He has lived in Madagascar for over 25 years. Most vanilla dealers here don't want to be filmed. Brandt is an exception. Around 40,000 people live in Mananara. There's only one paved road. The branch of Jörg Brandt. It has the function of a stock exchange. Representatives of the farmers meet with the Swiss to fix the prices for the harvest.
I'm a little nervous because now it's neck or nothing. How expensive will vanilla be? Will it possibly become cheaper or even more expensive?
For some time now, farmers have been experiencing a price explosion. A kilo of processed vanilla cost 35 euros just a few years ago. Today, it costs over 600 euros on the European market. The farmers expect this to continue, which makes negotiations difficult.
There is a strategy, which means that I will tell them why I think that prices will fall. And of course, they hope that prices will stay high. The problem with the negotiations is that we are the price makers here, which means that all people look at how much we pay and then adjust to those prices.
It's tough competition and Brandt can miscalculate.
There may be adjustments. The price could even go up, of course. If we agree on prices and everyone else pays a lot more, then we won't get any vanilla anymore. They'll simply keep it.
2 hours later. The clapping seals the deal. The price this year, 400 euros for a kilo of processed vanilla before export. Sambawa, a vanilla center of the country about 100 kilometers further north. The pretty beach idyll is deceptive. Here, the battle for vanilla has taken on extreme proportions. Marino Rajainina is considered the voice of the vanilla farmers, the only journalist in the world to deal almost exclusively with the subject of vanilla. Every evening, he reports about price developments and crimes around the pod on Radio Vanilla. A dangerous job. He was kidnapped and threatened with death several times. Nevertheless, almost daily he travels to the villages of the region, listening to the concerns of the vanilla farmers. Radio is often their only journalistic source. The rumor mill is boiling. The radio reporter wants to get to the bottom of it. The villagers tell him about fraudulent merchants and brazen thieves. 70% of their crops are supposed to disappear. They feel defenseless, they tell the journalist. The police usually let the peasants down. That's why they think lynchings are justified. Only a week ago, a young family man was caught red-handed and killed by the village community.
I witnessed one murder so far. They killed him right in front of me. Usually the vanilla farmers don't call me until after the murder.
The lynch law of the farmers is carried out with machetes. The reporter documented over 90 murders in the first half of 2018. 10 of them were farmers killed by thieves. Official numbers don't exist. Murderers never get caught. A vanilla farmer takes the reporter into the fields. All the green pods, she explains, have been stolen from her, even before they were really ripe. Rarely are thieves caught by the police, as in these pictures of the reporter. If they are, the farmer's wife says, they are released through bribes. Thefts are a huge problem. The farmers say that more than 70% of their crops are stolen, a controversial number, but widespread in Madagascar. The reporter meets an interview partner. The American has been living in the village for a year, working for the US Peace Corps. He rather believes in 30 to 50% loss.
That's such a high number, I feel like people would complain about that more. And there'd be more, just a lot of complaints. But what I see is people building new houses and buying TVs and computers and things like that. So it doesn't seem like 70% of their income is disappeared.
Authorities hardly care about the problem. That's why the journalist is so important. But who commissions the thefts? For many farmers, it is clear. The big companies from Europe and America. The rumors are persistent, and the name of a German company is mentioned again and again.
The farmers have no proof that Symrise use green vanilla. But a lot of people complain about it, and there are rumors. Symrise stated that they have nothing to do with it. They claim they're not involved in dark deeds.
The vanilla reporter wants to get to the bottom of this. His destination, the branch of the German company Symrise. Back in the Mananara region, vanilla dealer Jörg Brandt is fighting his way through the jungle on the way to the plantations.
In order to get the best vanilla, you have to take stony paths here.
It can take him 5 hours to cover 15 kilometers.
Such roads simply belong to life in Madagascar. For many men, this, of course, is a boy's dream, to drive on such roads, even if it takes a long time.
The huge island state off the African southeast coast captivates Jörg Brandt. There is a unique animal and plant world. There is hardly another place where vanilla grows better. Climate and soil are ideal. 80% of the vanilla comes from here. Actually, the whole country should profit from it. But as in many African countries, the money remains with only a few. Of the 25 million inhabitants of the island, 92% live on less than €2 a day. The catastrophic road conditions make the supply in the country difficult. That's why Jörg Brandt always brings something with him. Gifts maintain friendship, even in Madagascar.
We bring them tools, the machetes, so they can work the fields properly, and shovels. They make the shafts out of wood themselves, shovels so they can work the fields.
Brandt not only wants to trade fairly, but also deliver organic quality. He associates some gifts with his own interests.
They get the material from us so that we can be sure that all the organic requirements are met and that there is no contact with material that has already been in contact with pesticides or chemicals. So every year we give them new material to avoid that our vanilla then has pesticide residues or chemical residues.
Around this village, vanilla is said to have a particularly good aroma. Locals show Brandt the way to the hidden plantations. Another 2-hour hike. The valuable plants are guarded by pickers day and night. A sip of homemade schnapps relaxes the mood.
Most vanilla plantations are high up in the hills and hard to reach. Of course, there are also some on the roadside, but they are then relatively susceptible to theft.
Vanilla orchids are sensitive. When planted wrongly, they suffer.
Exactly. He just explained to us that this is the sign of sunburn on the vanilla plant. It happens when the plants don't get 50% shade from the big trees. Too much sun gives sunburn on the leaves, and that affects productivity.
Above the village lies the scent of vanilla. Everywhere the farmers have put out the pods to dry, so they get their typical brown color. At the beginning, the odorless pods are green. Then they are treated with hot water and reach a dark brown tone and the typical aroma by extensive drying.
This is the vanilla ready for export with great aroma and only 25% water content. You need about 6 kilos of this raw vanilla to make 1 kilo of this vanilla.
Hamburg. Here, the cost explosion on Madagascar is causing headaches. The city's spice traders must pass on the high prices to consumers. Christoph Handke operates a trade with fine spices. He sees strong competition in the large corporations.
Vanilla has become very expensive due to the high demand and, above all, because the large corporations also play an important role. The need for vanilla is huge and can hardly be satisfied, so prices go through the roof.
The trader obtains most of his pods directly from Madagascar. As a powder or as a whole, he usually sells the valuable goods to restaurateurs. Vanilla is not just any old product for the Hamburg spice retailer.
Of course, the smell reminds me of my childhood, and I will never forget how I ate the first vanilla ice cream.
Handke likes to visit his customers personally to make the extreme price increases palatable to them. It's problematic.
Unfortunately, I have no other choice, because the prices have risen so much and I don't know how to explain it to my customers.
Restaurant chef Heinz Wehrmann claims that only recently he only paid 120 euros, while he is now supposed to pay 720 euros for the same amount of vanilla. He jokes that Christoph Handke is probably on holiday too often. They finally agree on 667 euros and 50 cents. Almost 670 euros a kilo, a premium price. But he reckons it was worth it. But now it's time to take a look at the precious product. The chef thinks that the top price has almost been reached.
It's similar to other food sectors, whether it's truffles, saffron or turbot. At some point we get out.
But today business has worked out once again.
I'm in a state of happiness.
Zambawa, Madagascar. Investigative journalist Marino Rajaonina is still on the trail of major corporations. Who's responsible for stealing the green vanilla? The target, the German corporation. Symrise produces fragrances and aromas. The reporter was here unannounced before and chased away. His journalistic resources are limited. With the help of our drone, he now wants to see if the company already has bags of green vanilla on the premises. This would be forbidden at this time because the harvest is regulated by the state. Nothing can be seen from the air. And the families of the workers also report that there is still no green vanilla here. The vanilla reporter wants to question Symrise directly. He gets an appointment via the head office in Germany. Together with the translator, he enters the branch. He has no idea what to expect. He has not had good experiences with corporations so far. But this reception is friendly. The French manager shows himself open-minded.
What is true here in Madagascar, and especially in vanilla, is that you will always find some actors who will buy vanilla before the opening. But fortunately, it's really it's nothing regarding the quantity of vanilla. It's nothing.
The volumes tend to indicate intermediaries. They would hardly be relevant for large corporations.
We can afford to do something wrong. I mean, we are so much visible, and there is people who don't like us. That it's easy to put us out of the Sava region.
In fact, many companies already had to struggle with state reprisals here. The caution is understandable. In his evening program, Rajaonina reports live from his research. Considering his possibilities, the reporter has achieved a lot today. He'll keep up the story, but the German company is out of focus for now. Jugbrandt in a village near Mananara. 2,000 people live here. A week ago, their village leader negotiated the price with a vanilla dealer. Now the farmers want to sell their green vanilla. The degree of maturity of the pods is particularly important for Brandt.
If many pods were harvested too early and aren't ripe yet, then we don't have the vanilla content we should have.
An important event for the villagers. With the sale of their vanilla, they pay back loans that Brandt has granted them and get cash to make a living.
Most of the pods have a yellow tinge towards the end, which means that the maturity of the pods is very good. If it's already split, it's overripe.
Brandt can rule out that vanilla thieves also sell their loot here.
We can even see the owner's branding, NGN. NG1 is the owner's name. This means that this vanilla really comes from his field and not from anywhere else.
The stamps are like a signature. Good produce for good money. None of the farmers here have ever eaten a vanilla pudding. No one knows what is conjured up from this spice in Europe. The Swiss is considered an honest businessman, but he also knows the tricks.
For the buyers, there's the possibility to declare less weight. And there is also the possibility to say, we'll only pay a part and the rest later, but then they never show up again. And the worst thing, which happens, unfortunately, is if the buyer pays with counterfeit money. The people here are very isolated. They don't know exactly which banknotes are real and which aren't.
The SUVs are loaded. Brandt buys green vanilla because he can increase his profit margin and ensure quality through his own processing. First, the green pods are pre-treated in 70 degrees hot water. The spice is then wrapped in wool blankets. The pods must sweat for 2 days now. Only then does the typical vanilla aroma develop.
The effect is that the biological activity of the cells is killed, and that then the fermentation, so the transformation of glycovanillin into vanillin, takes place. In the next 6 weeks, the vanilla is laid out every day for a few hours, but always comes back into the box. After that, the drying process for almost 2 months, an enormous effort to guarantee the unique taste of bourbon vanilla. Finally, the product receives a special treatment. Here, the vanilla is massaged again, so that it can unfold its full aroma. It doesn't do this because it loves massages so much, but because the massage mixes up the seeds once more inside, and so the aroma can really unfold in the pods. Each of these almost loving steps gives the spice its high value. With the transport to Europe and the additional costs alone, the price almost doubles. Rapperswil in Switzerland. The importer Pronatec, known for organic products, has imported the vanilla from Jörg Brandt and has the pots processed by a specialist. Its managing director checks the goods. Fresh smell, typical bourbon vanilla.
The pods come under the knife. Vanilla, worth millions, is shredded.
What you see here now on my glove, the very small black seeds, are a quality feature. If you buy a yogurt or vanilla milk, you can check yourself if there is real vanilla in it.
Extracts, powders and granules, vanilla that can be dosed, is in demand. It is used in many products worldwide. The natural pod becomes a uniform industrial product.
The industry demands an aseptic extract, which the bean itself can't offer. It contains water, and through extraction we free the vanilla bean from water and thus obtain an extract that can be dosed even better.
The alcohol removes all aroma components from the pods, not just the vanillin, because that is what makes the natural pod so special. In addition to the vanillin, they also contain thousands of other components that make up their unique aroma.
This is now the finished vanilla extract as it goes to the industry. All the ingredients from these roughly 50 pods are in there and filled up with ethanol to form a liquid extract.
Yogurt, ice cream or chocolate. Vanilla then reappears in small drops in supermarket products. Hamburg. Vanilla retailer Christoph Handke is not a friend of mass-produced goods from the refrigerated shelf. His customers are mainly noble restaurants. He's delivering the vanilla.
The products in the refrigerated shelves of our supermarkets consist of hardly any real vanilla, but it still says contains vanilla.
Handke only supplies whole pods for the catering trade. Head chef Cornelius knows a trick to enhance the taste once again.
We briefly put the vanilla pod in the microwave, only for a few seconds. You can easily do it at home too. The aroma unfolds and it's easier to process. They are puffed up and much more aromatic afterwards.
But the quality of vanilla varies. Meanwhile, the market is also flooded by cheap products. China and Indonesia play a major role in this.
Most important is to get good vanilla in the first place. There is a lot more bad vanilla than good vanilla, and finding a reliable vanilla supplier, that's very important for us. Vanilla is always exciting when you use it discreetly, even in a hearty meal. That's the last touch for me or for us, which might make the whole dish a bit different from everything else. We let the whole thing simmer while we do the veal sweetbread.
Even the vanilla dealer is excited again and again to see what can be made from vanilla.
A bit of freshness from lemon thyme, but then the vanilla va devant sauce.
Noble bourbon vanilla is becoming a luxury good, a difficult situation for small spice traders.
Fortunately for me, the point has not yet been reached where I say I will get out. Of course, the high prices put a lot of pressure on me, and I have sleepless nights watching how the prices continue to develop.
In Madagascar too, the value of vanilla is well known. Business has changed. It's not only crime that worries Jörg Brandt.
What makes it tricky at the moment are the very high prices, which bring a lot of people into the business who had nothing to do with it before. I'm talking about mafia associations, politicians, and so on.
As a result, there is little trust in politics and police in Madagascar. Corruption is part of everyday life in a government that controls the vanilla trade. After the work is done, the workers are searched to see if there is still a pod hidden somewhere. The dramatic increase in the value of vanilla has many causes. The high demand, many middlemen, but also storms destroy all the harvests. But Jörg Brandt sees an end to the price spiral.
I think the vanilla price will drop in the future. We've reached the high. The supply is getting bigger and bigger. The farmers are growing more and more. And the prices are so high that the demand is also slightly decreasing.
Brandt has done good business this year, fair traded. He flies back to the capital, Antananarivo, where he lives with his family. Madagascar, the land of vanilla. For many it means enormous wealth, for others misery. The social divide in Madagascar is widening. Fair trade can counteract this. This may be worth a thought when enjoying the next vanilla ice cream.